The files that were once redacted has now been released to the public, containing information about Donald Trump doing horrifying acts with a younger person. I'm going to read those as they appear on screen, so get ready for that. A warning, this is a trigger warning for anybody that is sensitive to this kind of information. I'm going to read all 4 pages of the files, and I'll chapter it to let my thoughts be known about the situation, but this is just me reading the pages, so enjoy. The interviewing agents asked Blank to provide additional information and details regarding her first interaction with Donald Trump, where she was approximately 13 to 14 years old. In either New York or New Jersey, and while also in the company of Jeffrey Epstein. Blank classified that when she previously said Trump struck her after she bit him on the phallic member, she brought further details that he pulled her hair and punched her on the side of her head. With respect to Blank mother, Blank deceased, Blank recalled her mother spent approximately 2 years in federal prison in Columbia, South Carolina, around the time Blank was 17, 18 years old. So, Blank's mother's sentence was related to the embezzlement conviction connected to being blackmailed by Jeffrey Epstein and Jim Atkins over explicit photography of Blank. Blank asked whether Epstein had a sibling. The investigating agents inquired as to what made her think he had a sibling. Blank replied she recalled there was a man, possibly a brother of Epstein's, that she recalled from the past. Since the SAs suffered at the hands of Epstein and his associates, Blank was threatened on numerous occasions by unidentified people she believed were connected to Epstein. Blank's mother was also threatened on numerous occasions prior to her passing. The first incidents Blank could recall occurred in approximately Blank. When Blank was 16 to 17 years old, Blank was living in the suburb of South Carolina at the time. Blank's mother has been arrested for embezzlement and could not pay the restitution. Blank called Atkins at the university where he worked, unidentified, to ask for help. She recalled she asked why he fixed her mother's real estate books, only to later turn into the police. Atkins responded to Blank by stating words to the effect he did not give a crap if you could end in a gutter. Don't ever contact me again. Your mother knows what will happen. All right, so that's interesting. Blank recalled threatening telephone calls primarily began to occur after Blank gave birth to her daughter in Blank. Several calls listed as no ID on her caller ID system were made to Blank's telephone. The voicemail content primarily included only noises. However, during one call, a man unidentified stated, "F you better keep your mouth closed." The man subsequently hung up. Blank was threatened sometimes every 2 years. Then at random times, Blank never recognized the voices during the telephone calls, but she was certain the callers were not Epstein, Atkins, or Trump. The callers did not have heavy New York accents. She clarified that Epstein did not have a heavy New York accent in general. However, he said words with an accent. And approximately Blank mother fielded threats. Blank's mother fielded threats as well, made by individuals telling her to leave the island. The mother was not likely also threatened in person. However, Blank's mother, previous husband Blank, also received at least one threatening call at some point. No further information. The last call that Blank characterized as threatening occurred in approximately December or January. While Blank was working at Blank. A coworker received a message on their work landline that was intended for Blank. The man on the message stated that he was either Kevin or Keith and that he was calling from Blank's doctor office to check on her. Only listened for a second and did not hear the entire message. Blank's doctor had no idea where she worked and would never have called to check on her. Blank stated she told her daughter about the call, and her daughter subsequently called the doctor in an attempt to confirm the Blank call to Blank. The doctor's office stated they did not call to check on Blank. Blank told her boss that she had to take her daughter and leave immediately. Blank believed the incident to be threatening and related to Epstein and or his associates. Blank stated under her breath that if it was not Epstein, maybe it was the other one. Who asked the identity of the other one? Blank stated Trump. Blank was asked several times if she could estimate how many times she received threatening calls that she associated with Epstein and his associates. Blank cannot provide an answer, indicating there were numerous threat calls throughout her life. In the beginning, the threats were regular. They later became sporadic, and a year would go in between the incidents. During the past 4 years, the threats increased a little from one or the other, which when asked to clarify what she meant by one or the other, Blank stated she did not wish to further discuss that content at this time. Administrative note: immediately after indicating that she did not wish to expound with a particular statement, looking at 30 and stated where he was running. At that point, attorney stated more tracks to cover. Blank repeated the statement back to the attorney. Blank recalled several hang-ups and a lot of telephone calls. Basically a bunch of telephone calls right here, right? And that's basically what's going on here about how she was threatened. That's basically the entire fold of what's happening here. The reason we are getting these files now is because the Department of Justice said that, oh, we thought these were duplicate files. I am so tired of this garbage always happening over and over again. Oh, we get all this stuff later. A war is going on, so we can't really focus on that because Donald Trump is so busy with the war that we can't focus on this. And this is actively a person saying, yeah, I specifically it was Trump and this whole thing was going on. That's what was happening there. This is insane. I've narrowed it down to 3 possibilities about what could possibly be happening, and none of them feel good at all. Either the person responsible for cataloging millions of pages of sensitive evidence are astonishingly incompetent, they're operating at a level of disorganization that would embarrass a small town library. That's my first guess. Or someone intentionally buried certain documents under the bureaucratic equivalent of a dusty rag. That's my guessing. Or there are so many references to powerful people inside those files that the system itself lost track of who appears. Maybe that happened. Who knows? Each possibility of what could have potentially happened about why we're getting these files now is messing me up. Or maybe they're waiting for the war to start. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not a psychic. I have no clue. This is disgusting. You know what happens every time news screenshots appear? This is the exact cycle. This is what's going on. Internet erupts, bunch of speculation. Every timeline is filled with the screenshots and red circles and dramatic threats. Look at this. This is a new fight, a new thing. We gotta subpoena Trump. We gotta do that. We gotta do that. And then everybody becomes amateur investigators overnight, cross-referencing names against flight logs. And you know what this does? You know what this does every single time? Every single time? It just puts it back into the public opinion. That's it. That's all that it does. Nothing else. If someone wanted to design the perfect machine for manufacturing conspiracy theories, it would look almost identical to the current Epstein document saga. Partial information combined with endless delays creates a vacuum of human imagination filled with wild stories. I saw Bigfoot in the file. You saw Bigfoot in the files? And that vacuum. Everybody's speculating about secret rituals, corporate cannibalism, psychic prophecies, every other bizarre possibility. It's over and over again. Everything. Mystical predictions and all this stuff. Every political accusation. They're selling their soul to Satan. This is the whole thing. This is a circus. This is an actual circus. Let's talk about the real things that are going on here for like 3 seconds. Horrifying crimes that you did not have to prove to me are happening right now. I don't care about the fact that, well, with the wall, the firmament, and all this stuff, and it actually proves the fact that we are actually predicting, and we're actually in a different dimension, and actually, this is actually proves that black people are the strongest on earth, and all that. I don't care about any of that. All right? Can we actually get some justice for once? Can that happen? Can that be real? Can that be true? They were eating children. That would be so cool if we could just get that into the court system, right? You can say whatever you want to. You can read the files, whatever. Let's focus on the fact that they're hiding all this stuff. I don't care about what crazy theory you think is cross-confirmed and all this stuff, whether you think Antarctica is real, we live in an ice wall, the earth is flat. I don't care about none of that. I really don't. That's so unimportant to me. That is so infinitesimally small to the bigger issue that is happening here. It's the fact that real crimes are happening and no real punishment is being dealt out. That's it. Every time you do this conspiracy theory reviews or all this garbage where you do clickbait nonsense and saying, actually, we exist inside of a giant nutsack because every planet is spherical. Why are these things sounding so real? This seems possible. They sound so crazy and they could be true. MK Ultra happened. This is crazy. I'm sick of it. Please put these people in prison. Please. I beg of you, you are overcrowding everything. You're overcrowding everything. Every time you do this. I'm really exhausted, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm genuinely exhausted right now because I'm sick of this. I'm so angry at just the public and our ability to not do what they did on January 6th. I am so wildly angry at how this is a bipartisan issue. This is both right, left to attack up. We are doing nothing. We're letting lawmakers decide. Yeah, pride is unimportant, realistically. This is the worst thing ever. My knees hurt so bad. This is the worst thing ever. This is genuinely bad. Right? Is this not bad? And the administration is just laughing right in our face. They're telling us that, oh man, this is cool. Or Donald Trump didn't do anything. It doesn't matter. I don't even care about Donald Trump at this point. I don't. Just somebody, one person. Ghislaine Maxwell is doing nothing. Bill Clinton is laughing at the files. He's looking at them and giggling at what's going on. He's saying, "Oh yeah, I remember that. That's cool." He's looking and giggling. Hillary Clinton's getting pissed and all this garbage is happening. We own the left. The right is in shambles. You are gonna make me do something evil, man. I'm gonna do something so evil. You guys are just, I'm gonna be the one to just do something evil. Y'all are really just, y'all doing nothing. You're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. Nothing is happening. Nothing. All this talk, all this worthless garbage, all these meetings, all the lawmaker stuff, all these bills that get broken, all these laws, the war that's going on. You're doing nothing. Nothing's happening. A whole lot of nothing's happening. We're getting nowhere. Nowhere fast. It's so depressing to see how fast we're getting nowhere after all these files and all this stuff. And after the Epstein files, so much proof is going to happen and come out. You don't want to attack the Democrats. You don't want to do that. Well, Donald Trump didn't do anything. I don't care. Restart. Do a full reset. Everybody's gone. Everybody get out of here. You're all gross. All these gross, wild Epstein class people. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Oh my God. I'm going to throw up. I'm genuinely going to throw up. This is pissing me off so bad. The great burden of intelligence upon the mind of a human is better left to those who can fully encapsulate the weight of what that intelligence does. Hence why the statement, ignorance is bliss, is often so coupled with so many different things. But I think, and this is just my own personal thought process, I believe that ignorance, well-placed ignorance, is no different than pure malicious intent. I think stupidity is no different than evil. I think that if you are so blind to the injustices and the cruelties of the world that happen over and over again to an extent that ruins you, you're so blind to them, you will be left to repeat those very same mistakes, as some of them are purely human nature. These bored, rich psychopaths that do nothing to benefit the entirety of anyone. None of it is insane. Epstein was confirmed to be with younger women. He was confirmed to get people over there. A lot of things have been confirmed. Nothing's happening because these lawyers are so smart and they know how to push things. And because we're at war right now, this is going to get pushed to so much deeper in the back burner that nobody's going to care. No one's going to care. I'm just fed up with everything. It's so childish. This is just what a childish way to live. What a childish way to be as a person, as a human. What a spectacle we are to be on this earth and do nothing about the evils and injustices and indignations because we're so complacent with the meager situations of our lives. Well, I'm healthy. I'm happy. At least I have this. We should strive for thriving. We don't. We just look for living, and nobody wants to thrive. Nobody wants to do more than what these are. We pay our entertainers far too much, and I'm an entertainer, and I know this now. I barely have views on my videos, and I have enough. I make more than if I had a job making $21 an hour simply doing YouTube. That's just YouTube. I'm not even counting my Instagram or my TikTok or my Facebook. That's how much I make. And we have all these celebrities saying, there's evil go afoot and all this evil stuff. We have all these people that do nothing and nothing over and over again. This is so bad. I don't like any of this. I'm just going to end the video here. I don't have anything else to say. This is gross. I hate everything. This is bad. This is bad.
Good night, be my Laurel Angelo. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you're free.